Let's talk social media. This is usually the most fun part, or at least what everybody thinks is the most fun, right? I mean, I guess after job postings, anything is fun. But we're going to talk about a lot of different social media channels. First, let's cover the strategy, the bigger idea, right? You don't just do stuff willy-nilly. You got to have a strategy, and this is what our strategy is going to be. Everything you talk about, everything you post to, everything you point to, everything you reference, everything on all your social media channels that you are responsible for must point to the brand. If they don't, you are wasting your opportunity to establish and set and prove your brand. Just that simple. I know that someone told you you have to post a Happy Thanksgiving post, so I guess you gotta. But you can post a Happy Thanksgiving post, or you can post a Happy Thanksgiving post that ties to the brand, that talks about how much you care about innovation, that talks about how much you care about your mission, or to your team and how you take care of them, or your performance. There are lots of ways to tell those stories. You get to choose what stories you tell. It's just that simple. Too often, our work is about filling up a calendar with posts because, well, we said we had to post twice a week, and so we do, whether we want to or not, whether we have anything to say or not. So the bigger strategy is whatever you're posting, from a day in the life video to a we have jobs to a we're going to be at a conference, I do not care. Every single post must point to the brand. This is how this whole thing works. You are creating a long path across the entire candidate journey from I got an outreach email and I liked it, I was interested, and I applied for the job, and I'm looking at information, I'm learning about the company, I interviewed, and I get the offer acceptance letter. The entire journey must be branded, and this is just one part. And that means the entire social media journey must be branded. If they decide that your job posting was really interesting and your comments about performance were really attractive, the next thing they're going to do is read more about you. Where are they going to read about you? Probably LinkedIn, probably on social. So if you don't fulfill the promise that interest kind of sparked, what are we doing? What are we trying for? You have to pay it off. You can't make a claim on the job posting. You can't make a claim on the outreach and not pay it off here. That's what this is all about. Do not be a slave to your editorial calendar. Just because you think or someone told you that you should post twice a week to LinkedIn, or you're only allowed 2 slots on LinkedIn a week to post, doesn't mean you post with nothing. It doesn't mean you post with nothing to say. You find something to say or you don't post. Think about it. If you're a candidate and you posted a garbage nothing burger kind of post, and the candidate who has limited and deeply finite time to look at your materials, to learn more, they don't have time to waste, and they see a nothing and a nothing and the nothing, guess what? How many nothings do you get before you go, there's nothing here, and you walk away? They don't realize that the next post was useful because it was branded, because you let it be filled with nothing. So everything you post must be branded, or don't post. Also, everyone tries to reuse their content. They try to recycle it. Hey, it worked on LinkedIn, let's stick it on Facebook. It worked on Facebook, let's stick it on Instagram. I get that. We're all trying to save time. However, each channel is different and your content must abide by the expectations, right? You posted something on Facebook and it was really interesting, but Facebook, the photo is nice, but it's not the focus. But if you copy it and stick it on Instagram, that's a place where the photo is the entire focus. If you don't have a good photo, no one reads the copy, right? And if you stuck that on LinkedIn, where the shape of the photo is different, it's going to look weird. And you're going to say, why am I looking at this photo? I don't go to LinkedIn for photos. I go to LinkedIn to get stories and information and videos and all sorts of other stuff. So understand the difference and the constraints and the expectations of each of your social channels. Do not recycle willy-nilly. Okay, so let's go over the channels one by one. To start with, before I get into any of them, there are experts on these channels. If you are using these channels, find those experts. Listen to what they have to say. They have newsletters. They post on social media about their work. I know they do because I read them too. They're really good, so go ahead and listen. Go ahead and get your tricks from them. This is not what this is about. But I will say, if you're starting on LinkedIn, which makes perfect sense from an employer brand standpoint, Go follow Andy Foote, Foote. Absolutely, he is, when it comes to the LinkedIn algorithm, which is changing all the time, he's the guy I trust to say, oh, it changed. You don't use 3 hashtags, you use 5. You don't do it this way, you do it this way. He's the guy who is testing and experimenting on the algorithm today to tell you what's what. So I always listen to him. So let's get to LinkedIn. Everything you post has to tie to the brand. I don't care what you post. Tie it to the brand. And to be fair, I can tie almost any post to any motivation or any brand. It just takes a minute of thought. Even if it's like, hey, we won an award for being the most inclusive company, but your brand is all about performance, and you're like, oh, those two things are different. No, they're not. You can simply say, we are so excited. We care so much about diversity and inclusion because we know it leads to better performance by each person and better performance to our teams as a whole. So we're really excited to get this award about DEI. See what I did there? I moved it around. I pointed it in the right direction where it's serving me. Because if you read 10 social posts and they're all about performance, someone's going to walk away and say, I guess they care about performance. And that's good because that's what you're promising and that's what you're going to pay out down the road. That said, this is a place where advocacy works. LinkedIn is all about advocacy, meaning the way the LinkedIn algorithm works is that they don't know if your post is good or bad, so they take the copy and they take the post and they hand it to a handful of your followers. And they go, if they like it, maybe other people like it. If they don't, it's garbage and we won't show it to so many people. So that's kind of the test, which means when you post something useful, you should figure out how to rally as many people to like, comment, and follow that post within the first 90 to 120 minutes after post. When you feed and game that algorithm, LinkedIn goes, oh, wow, lots of people like this content. I'm going to share it with more people. That's the win. That's how this works. If you're using a short video from a hiring manager, and we're going to talk about that later, and you stick it on them, tag the hiring manager because the hiring manager now says, ooh, someone's talking about me and they like it. You can then say, hey, we're about to put a video of you up. Can you make sure as soon as we post it, you tell your team to like it, to comment, to share? It games the system. It absolutely works wonders, not just on video, but in any single post. I'm not going to get into content creation because look around. There's all sorts of ways to show off what you're doing, to show off your culture, to show off your work experience, to show off the job, to show off the people, to show off hiring manager, to show off the leadership, to show off the corporate success. All of it is in play. All of it supports this brand idea so long as you point it in the right direction. So I'm not going to get into content creation. I will say right now, baseline, throw 3 hashtags on that post. And they none of this vanity hashtag where you're using your brand name as a funny kind of way to say it. No, nobody follows that. Trust me, nobody follows that. But at the same time, don't pick hashtags that everybody follows because it's not useful, right? Social media is the #1 most followed hashtag, but if you're not talking about a social media company, don't post it to that. They won't engage with it. That kills the algorithm, right? That says, hey, algorithm, this is stupid. We don't care about this content. And the algorithm says, oh, this is bad content, even when it's not. So pick your hashtags wisely. Big ones, the biggest ones you can think of, but appropriate ones. Think about the job you're hiring. Think about the industry. Think about the functional area. Think about who should read this content and point it to them. So that's LinkedIn kind of in a bubble real quick, right? Like I said, Andy knows what he's doing. Follow him. LinkedIn is probably your most powerful tool for embedding employer brand messaging to people likely to listen to it and likely to apply down the road. It is probably your most powerful channel. That said, there's other good, valuable channels that are different, and you should not discount that just because I said to. Some people are going to live on TikTok. Some people are going to live on Instagram. It's fine. It's fine. Use it. If it works for you, use it. What we're trying to do is figure out how to maximize your time so that the 2 or 3 weeks you get 2 or 3 hours you get every week to focus on these projects, you're maximizing your return. So for things like Instagram and Twitter and TikTok, look, if you have something to say it. If you don't, don't. Simple as that. And then just remember the rules of the channel, right? On TikTok, it's all about motion. It's all about being engaging. It's all about being exciting. It's all about, hey, and stickers and changing and whatever. Go for it. Go for it. Try it. On Twitter, tight space, say something interesting, say something witty, tag it. On Instagram, it's all about that photo. It's all about that photo. So if you have a weak photo, Don't use it. Simple as that. I will say that YouTube is an underappreciated channel on a lot of levels. Mostly because most people don't understand YouTube in its totality. And we're going to get into that. I think it's important because it offers you opportunities you might not have on other channels, and it augments a lot of other stuff you're going to do. So first off, we all know YouTube is the place we watch videos. That's granted, right? I need you to think of YouTube as three different kinds of tools. The first is it's a host. Meaning you upload your video there and you can embed that video on anything you want, on job boards, on job postings rather, on career sites, hand it to recruiters. You can use it and spread it as much as you want, and YouTube will host the file and play it and count the views and whatever, all that other stuff. It's a great, instead of having to host it on your web provider, use YouTube as your host. And that's really where most people start. Right? So if you've got that hiring manager video and they're talking for 60 seconds, yeah, and push it on LinkedIn natively, but also put a copy on YouTube. Make a playlist of all your kind of employee spotlights. We talk about that more down the road. The other part of that is because YouTube is owned by Google, who owns search, right? As people search for what's it like to work for your company, those videos will pop up. Right? Your Glassdoor responses might show up, your Glassdoor reviews might show up, your Indeed scores might show up, but the video will pop up towards the top. So no one's making a bad video about you probably. They might leave a bad review, but they're probably not spending the time to burn, making bad videos about you. So your video is towards the top. So you can start to frame and shape the perception. So that's how you think about YouTube as a host. Second, think about them as a TV channel, right? It's a means by which people watch TV. It's a means by which people watch video. I've got YouTube hooked up to my TV in my living room. My daughter and I watch cat videos and marble racing, and I watch whatever the heck I watch, right? It's a great channel for relatively short videos. Having access to that is useful. So make sure when you're building your content and hosting it there, you're also describing it appropriately, that you're asking people to follow you, that you're engaging with the audience, that it's there. Because the part beyond being a TV channel, it's also, the third element, a social media channel. Now, for a while, I admit, I was the last person to admit that this was a social channel. I thought, who hangs out on YouTube? Well, I've changed my tune since then. Yes, people do. A lot of people do, actually. In fact, I'm now getting the point where right now there's a tab on my browser of just the YouTube homepage. When I need 5 minutes or 10 minutes to kill, I'm just like, I need to chill. I go to the YouTube, I hit refresh, and I pick a video to watch just to burn some time. Sometimes I'm learning something. Sometimes I'm laughing at something. Sometimes I'm watching a clip from a movie I saw 10 years ago. It's just a nice channel, and I engage with it. I respond to it. I comment on it. It's a social channel. Because it's a social channel, you need to think of it as such. You need to think of it as a place where people engage. You need to ask people to subscribe. Yes, you can ask people to comment. Sure. You can even say, asking the hiring manager, hey, what's it like to work here? And then at the end of it, say, hey, if you've got you have a question about our company, put it in the comments and we'll try to respond to it. Provided you keep an eye on that channel, that's a great way to build some engagement. Because a lot of the features, because it's a social channel, a lot of the features that you want from YouTube they only turn on, they only are revealed and onboarded when you hit a certain volume of use. Meaning you posted your 5th video or whatever, or you hit 200 or 100 followers, or there are things that happen when you start. When you first show up, it's a pretty clean channel. There's not a lot of cool tools. As you get people to show up, as you get them to watch, as you get them to subscribe, more things come online. My personal favorite is the template, meaning that description where you say, hey, this video is about cats. You can embed as much content in that description as you want. It's not like web page level big, but it's big. There's a lot of room for stuff. And I've seen people really take advantage of that. Putting links to their career site, putting links to other videos, putting links to other content. Hey, go check us out on Built-In or The Muse or wherever, right? You're pointing people to other stuff to say, learn more. You're excited to watch this video, to learn more about us. Keep learning more, pointing you to lots of places. But if you're putting a video up every week, that's a pain, right? But if you templatize it, if you use YouTube's templatizer, you can actually write it once, stick some emojis in it, kind of put those links in, make sure everything works, put some very well-written copy in the top of it. Every time you upload a video, that gets knocked into every description. It's automatically annotated. Super, super helpful. There's lots of little tools like that, and there's a million people out there who have great videos, not surprisingly, on how to make a better YouTube channel. Just watch a couple. Try not to get too obsessed. It's very easy to get obsessed with these channels because these people are very obsessed with it. Mostly because when you hit 1,000 followers and a certain number of views, it's monetized, meaning as people watch it and they watch the commercial that comes with your channel, you get money. That's not what you care about, so careful, be aware of that. But that's why people are so excited to hit their 1,000 followers, to hit that kind of volume, because then they can maximize. You'll notice as if you watch a couple of YouTube videos and how-to videos, people seem to care about that stuff a lot. And I get that. That makes sense. But it's not for you. So the last note, and this might be the most important thing. The last thing to think about when you're posting to any channel, is to keep the SADR rule in mind. What's the SADR rule? Thanks for asking. It's every post must be specific, attractive, different, and real. Every single post. Why? Well, because if you're not specific, you're being really, really vague, and no one believes that, right? It's a greeting card. It's kind of like it's a motivational poster. It's the equivalent of hang in there, baby. It means and says nothing. Specificity creates its own value. People believe it because it's specific. For example, you're talking about how, hey, we won an award because we are supporting women in leadership. That's not very specific because that award goes to a lot of people. If you say, we have built a program specifically tailored to support women to grow into leadership roles. The name of this program is Women in Leadership at company name, whatever it is. And we've been doing it for 3 years, and we are super thrilled with the results. Name of the program, number of years it's been in place. If you want to talk about how many women have been through it, those kinds of specifics make this thing more real. If you simply say, we care about women and we support their growth, okay, good for you. So do I. What does that mean? So specifics are incredibly powerful. 2, it's got to be attractive. If it's not attractive, why? Why bother? Why bother posting it? It's designed to attract people, thus it must be attractive. So if you say, hey, and this is my favorite, hey, we launched a new career site. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Your mom might care. Your boss might care. End of list. So saying, hey, check out our new career site, nobody cares. What would they be attracted to? If you say something, hey, you got to talk about stuff that they're attracted to. You can talk about, hey, we have a career finder tool that will help give you some insight on where you might fit within our company. Okay, it's a stretch, but it's a lot more attractive than, hey, we have a new career site, right? That's the same people who think that if I say, hey, Doritos, brand new bag, same old taste is interesting. No, it's not. It's not. Who cares? Okay, so specific, attractive, and different. If you're not differentiating, people can't choose you. You look like everybody else. Right? I don't go to the hardware store to buy a specific brand of nail. Why? Because they're in boxes. Nails are the same. All nails are the same. Now, a carpenter is going to tell me that all nails are not going to be the same. They have very specific opinions because they're carpenters on what nails are the best to buy. But if I go to the Home Depot or I go to Lowe's or I go to the hardware store, all those boxes just look like nails. What do I care? They're not different. They're just nails. I don't pick. I just pick whatever's cheapest. So you have to differentiate yourself. That's what the brand is for, to say this is what we care about. This is what we're all about, so that people can say, ooh, that's interesting, that's different, I want some of that. Or I don't want some of that. It's a decision-making filter. It's super powerful that way. Finally, specific, attractive, different, real. No lying, no spin, easy on the aspirational stuff. Keep it real. Something that's real, something that's specific, something believable, way more powerful than something pretty and fun and one day and aspirational and all hype. Yeah, don't do that. Everything you post, video, LinkedIn post, hey, we're hiring. I don't care. Specific, attractive, and different, and real. It must hit all 4. Otherwise, you are leaving opportunity. You're leaving potential impact on the table. Remember, the fact that they're looking at your stuff is a gift. You have been gifted with 3 seconds of their attention. Now, if you do it right, that 3 seconds can turn into 3 minutes or 10 minutes. But if you don't do anything with those first 3 seconds, if you're not specific, attractive, different, and real, they're gone. They have other stuff to look at. And most of that stuff is way more interesting than anything you're writing, right? I'd much rather watch a Ryan Gosling being fed cereal meme than I would most job postings and most employer brand content. And it's my job to care about that stuff, right? That fun stuff is way more interesting. So if you can't be specific, attractive, different, and real, don't post anything. Don't waste that opportunity to engage somebody. Don't fill it full of junk and garbage and say nothings just because someone said you had to. Focus on finding a way to take whatever you're talking about and make it specific, attractive, different, and real. That's how you use social media. All right, next, we're going to talk about recruitment marketing. That'll be fun.